Hi viewers, I am going to present about the flexibility assessment. First we are going to see about what is flexibility, and then we are going to see about the flexibility assessment. So the flexibility is the range of action in a joint or group of joints, or the ability to move joints efficiently through the complete range of action. Flexibility training includes stretching exercises to lengthen the muscles and may include activities like yoga or tai chi. It usually means that one can reach down to touch their toes or bend deeply into squat, but the definition of flexibility is more complicated than simply being able to do a single stretch. Flexibility varies between individuals, particularly in terms of differences in muscle length and of multi-joint muscles. Flexibility in some joints can be increased to a certain degree by exercise, with stretching the common exercise component to maintain or to improve flexibility. Let us see what is flexibility. Flexibility or limberness refers to the absolute range of movement in a joint or series of joints. Length in muscle that cross the joint to induce a bending movement or motion. According to the American Council of Exercise, flexibility is defined as the range of motion of the given joint or group of joint, or the level of tissue's extensibility that a muscle group possesses. That means each joint and each group of muscle in the body might have a different range of motion or dissimilar level of flexibility. Some areas of body may be very firm, meaning that the muscles feel short and stiff. Some areas of the body may feel very loose and may be able to elongate and move those muscles liberally. For example, one has a flexible hamstring allowing bending over and touching the toes, but thighs, that is quadricep muscles, might be tight, so it may be harder to stand upright or bend backward. Many people who work in an office all the day develop unbendable hips as a result of sitting all day. This is one of the reasons that health experts recommend that to stand up and move for a few actions every hour. Stretching improves flexibility. Go for a stretching class or do an online video that focuses just on stretching exercises to improve range of motion throughout the body. These programs commonly begin with a gentle warm-up to augment body's core temperature. Then they progress through a series stretching exercises to lengthen the muscle in feet, legs, hips and torso, and finally up through the head and neck. There are different types of stretching to improve flexibility. Before seeing the types of flexibility exercises or stretching exercises, first we will see what are the factors which affects the flexibility. Quality of life is enhanced by improving and maintaining a good range of motion in the joints. Overall flexibility should be developed with specific joint range of motion needs in mind, as the individual joints vary from one to another. Loss of elasticity can be predisposing factor for physical issues such as pain syndromes or stability disorders. Sex, age and heredity are important for range of motion. Exercise including stretching and yoga often improves flexibility. Many factors are taken into account when establishing personal elasticity: joint structure, ligaments, tendons, muscles, skin, tissue injury, fat tissue, body temperature, activity level, age and sex all influences an individual's choice for the movement about a joint. Personal body flexibility level is measured and calculated by performing a sit and reach test, where the result is defined as individual flexibility score. The internal factors of flexibility are: movement stress includes strength, endurance and range of motion. Training oversights occurs when the body is tired. On the inside, the joints, muscles, tendons and ligaments can affect one's flexibility. Each part of the body has its own boundaries and collective. The range of motion can be exaggerated. The physiological approach of the performer during the state of motion can also affect their range. External factors of flexibility. The external factors, anything from the weather outside to the age of the performer, can affect flexibility. General tissues and the collagen changes with the age, influencing the individual. Young performers should be aware of overstretching. Even basic things such as clothing and equipment can affect performance. Dance surfaces and lack of proper shoes can also affect the performance ability to perform his or her best. What are the anatomical essentials of flexibility, that is elasticity of the human body? First, let us see about the joints. The joints in a human body are bounded by synovial membrane and articular cartilage, which covers, cushion and nourish the joint and surface of each to facilitate muscular elasticity of the joint. As the range of mobility increases, the flexibility. Ligaments. Ligaments are composed of two different tissues, white and yellow. The white fibrous tissues are not stretchy but extremely strong, so that even if the bone fractured, the tissue would remain in place. The white tissue allows one-sided liberty of movement. The yellow elastic tissue can stretch by the long way while returning to its unique extent. Tendons. The tendons are not stretchy and are even less flexible. Tendons are characterized as a connective tissue. Connective tissue supports, surrounds and binds the muscle fibers. They contain both stretchy and non-stretchy tissues. Then coming to the areolar tissue. The areolar tissue is a porous and it is broadly scattered throughout the body. This tissue acts as a common folder of all other tissues. Then the common muscular tissue is made of stretchy material. It is arranged in bundles of muscle fibers like thick and thin muscle fibers, that is myosin and actin. So what are the stretch receptors which is present in the muscle? The stretch receptors have two parts, spindle cells and Golgi tendons. Spindle cells located in the center of the muscle send messages for the muscle to contract. On the other hand, Golgi tendon receptors are located near the end of the muscle fiber and send communication for the muscle to rest. As these receptors are skilled throughout the repeated use, stretching becomes easier. When reflexes that reduces elasticity are released, the splits then become easier to perform. The splits use the body entire range of action and afford a total stretch. Stretching progresses flexibility. Flexibility is enhanced by stretching. Stretching should only be happening when muscles are humid and the body warmth is raised. To be successful while stretching, force applied to the body must be held just outside the sensation of pain and needs to be held for at least 10 seconds. If held too long, the muscle will become too loose and springy. Mounting the range of movement creates good posture and develops capable concert on daily actions, increasing the length of life and, on the whole, health of personality. Stretching may be classified as static, dynamic and ballistic. First we'll see about the dynamic stretching. Dynamic flexibility is classified as the ability to complete full range of motion of joint. It also controls movement as the speed increases while stretching parts of the body. This form of stretching prepares the body for physical effort and sports routine. In the past, it was the tradition to undertake static stretching before exercise. Dynamic stretching increases range of movement, blood and oxygen flow to soft tissues prior to application. All the time more, coaches and sports trainers are aware of the role in dynamic stretching in improving the performance and reducing the risk of injury. Then the static active stretching. Static active stretching includes holding an extended position with just strength of the muscles, such as holding the leg in front, side or behind. Static active flexibility requires a great deal of strength, making it the hardest to develop. Ballistic stretching. Ballistic stretching is separate from all other forms of stretching. It does not include stretching, but rather a bouncing motion. The actual performance of ballistic movement prevents lengthening of tissues. These movements should only be performed when the body is very warm. Otherwise, they can lead to injury. What are the signs of injury? Stretching for too long or too much can give way to an injury. For most performance, the normal choice of motion is more than sufficient. Any unexpected movements or going too fast can cause muscle to constrict. This leads to tremendous pain, and performers should let the muscle calm down by inactive. What are the risks of injury? Many people get injured while doing yoga and aerobics without proper warm-up. They don't have enough flexibility. So one needs to be careful while doing it. If a bone, muscle or any other part is stretched more than its capacity, it may lead to dislodgement, muscle pulls, etc. or something even more severe too. So what are the benefits of stretching? It is for weight loss also. The best thing about the flexibility training is that you don't have to do very often or for very long to enjoy the benefits. Just a few minutes of stretching each day will help to improve the range of motion in your joints, help to decrease the risk of injury during exercise and reduce stress. Consistency is important to boost your flexibility, but even if you participate in a stretching program 2 to 3 times per week, your body will feel better. When you get out from the bed in each morning, these might be included in your daily schedule. Full body roll. Stand tall and reach arms towards the sky, then relax the arms and roll the spine down. Let arms relax towards the floor. Keep the knees bent to protect your back. Hold the position. Continue breathing for 5 to 15 seconds, then slowly roll back and repeat. The second one is crescent moon stretches. It is like a shape. Reaching the arms overend, gently curve the body into a shape of C, the letter alphabet C, by bending the body to the left and then to the right. Next, neck and shoulder stretches. In the seated or standing position, gently tilt the chin towards your chest and feel a gentle release in the back of the neck. Then slowly and carefully roll the head to the left and to the right to stretch the sides of the neck. You may feel the stretch into the top of each shoulder. Next one is chest opener. In the seated or standing position, clasp the hands together behind your back. Feel the front of the chest open and stretch. Hold for 5 to 10 seconds. Then the next one is hip and inner thigh stretch. In a seated position, bring the soles of the feet together in front of your body so that your legs form a triangle. Keeping the spine long, tilt towards from the hips, bringing your chest closer to the floor. It is normal if you can't bend very far. Remember to keep breathing as you hold the stretch for 15 to 30 seconds. These stretches will help to loosen up the joints and start the day with healthy movement. Might also choose to do these stretches at desk while at work. During the time at lunch, before or after work, also take a yoga class to lose weight or learn to practice the Tai Chi to improve your health. Both these mind and body practices helps to improve the flexibility and reduce stress. Now we'll see about the flexibility assessments. Muscle must have full and normal range of motion in order for joints and skeletal structure for the function properly. Flexibility is particularly overlooked in most trainees' workouts. The purpose of flexibility testing and training is to correct the muscle imbalances, to increase the joint range of motion, to decrease muscle soreness, to decrease muscle hypertonicity, and to relieve joint stress, to improve the extensibility of musculotendinous junctions, to maintain the normal functional length of all muscles, decrease unnecessary friction in joints structure which can lead to premature damage or wear. In many musculoskeletal injuries, inflexibility is either the cause or the contributing factor. This unique manual will make it possible for design own customized stretching routine based on the flexibility needs. Serious flexibility tests can be performed without any special equipment that can make note of whether the individual is tight or both the sides. Tighter on right, tighter on the left to have good range of motion. A corresponding strength to improve flexibility is that particular muscle group is provided. Often the test itself can be used as the stretch. The importance of symmetrical flexibility: always seek to balance flexibility for both the sides of the body. Differences between sides will always cause to deviate to the more flexible side, causing faulty movement patterns, and eventually breakdown somewhere in the kinetic chain. A good rule of thumb is to stretch the tighter side of your body twice as much as more flexible side. For every one stretch you do for the more flexible side, do 2 for the tight side. Stretching technique: when using the static stretches presented here, use the following guidelines and suggestions. Try not to stretch when you are in a rush. Do not stretch cold muscles, or a short warm up or doing stretches after a workout is recommended. Be careful when stretching. First thing, in the morning or without warm up, think of your own muscle as taffy just coming out of the refrigerator. Don't strain. You should feel tension in the muscle as you stretch them. While doing stretching, you don't feel sharp pain. You should be able to breathe easy and normally while you do stretch. Keep face and hands relaxed while stretching. Hold your stretches long enough to let the tension release from the muscle. Instead of sitting on the couch in front of the TV at night, get on the floor and use it as a time to stretch while you watch your favorite show. Try to stretch daily, at least 4 to 5 times per week. You will not be sorry. So here are the flexibility tests. The flexibility test has 2 methods. One is direct and the other one is indirect. The indirect method is, the indirect flexibility test is usually involve the linear measurement of distances between segments or from an external object. Then direct method, the direct flexibility method measures angular displacement between adjacent segments or from an external reference. Trunk and lower body test. So to test the trunk and lower body flexibility, these are the test items to be tested. That is sit and reach test, modified sit and reach test, V-sit test, floor touch test, groin flexibility test, calf muscle flexibility test, trunk rotation test, and 90 by 90 hamstring test, straight leg raise test, modified Thomas test. For the upper body, the shoulder rotation, in the shoulder flex test, shoulder circumflexion test, shoulder rotation test. For the shoulder flexion, the back scratch test, the shoulder flexibility test and shoulder stretch test may be conducted. Then how to conduct the sit and reach test? This is the most popular test to test the flexibility of a human being. The sit and reach test is most common flexibility test. It measures the flexibility of the lower back and hamstring. It requires a box about 30 centimeter, that is 12 inches height, and a meter, that is scale, meter rule. Sit on the floor with the back and head against the wall. Legs should be out straight ahead and knees flat against the floor. Have someone place the box flat against the feet. Don't wear shoes. Keeping back and head against the wall, stretch arms out towards the box. Have someone place the ruler on the box and move the 0 ends towards your fingertips. When the ruler touches your fingertips, have the 0 point and the test can be begin. Lean forward slowly as far as possible. Keep the fingertips level with each other and the legs flat. Head and shoulder can come away from the wall. Don't jerk or bounce to reach further. Slowly reach along the length of the ruler 3 times. On the third attempt, reaches as far as possible and hold for 2 seconds. Have training partner and the score. Repeat twice and compare your best score with a table. Trunk rotation test. This flexibility test measures trunk and shoulder flexibility. The only equipment required is a wall and a piece of chalk or pencil. Mark a vertical line on the wall. Stand with your back to the wall directly in front of the line. You should be about arm's length away from the wall with your feet shoulder. Extend your arms out direct in front of you so they are parallel to the floor. Twist your trunk to your right and touch the wall behind you with your fingertips. Your arms should stay extended and parallel to the floor. You can turn your shoulders, hips and knees as long as your feet don't move. Mark the position where your fingertips touches the wall. Measure the distance from the line. At this point before the line is a negative score and point after the line is a positive score. Next is groin flexibility test. This flexibility test measures flexibility in the adductors. The only piece of equipment you require is ruler and tape. Sit on the floor with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor and legs together. Let your knees drop sideways as far as possible, keeping your feet together. The soles of your feet should be together. Clasp your feet with both the hands and pull your ankles as close to your body as possible. Measure the distance from your heel to your groin. Then the last one is goniometer testing. One who is in the training program, goniometer is an ideal and inexpensive piece of testing kit. It is essentially used like a large set of compasses or protractor to measuring joint angles. Coming to the conclusion of flexibility assessment, flexibility is essential for everyone in all walk of life. We have to perform different range of movement. The range of movement is routine, specific or sudden or accidental movement. While performing these movements, one should not get injured. Injury of any type disturbs our routine and makes us dull. It gives unpleasantness to all situations. So do simple stretches while get up from bed, at work and at leisure for hardly once and get good range of movement at joints. Avoid immobility in the joints. Get good health through stretching with graceful movement and good posture. Live healthy, happy and joyful life. Thank you.